I'm Leon Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday Tone Tip. On today's video, we're going to look at some tones inspired by vintage Electro Harmonics pedals. Kind of like the video I did looking at the best of Boss, there are numerous effects types either directly based on or inspired by some classic effects by Electro Harmonics. Electro Harmonics have been making pedals in various guises since the 70s, probably a little bit earlier than that as well. You are probably familiar with the sounds of the Big Muff, the Deluxe Memory Man, the Electric Mistress, and a lot of others. I'm just going to include some of my favorites in this preset. I will put it up for you all to download for free and try out for yourself. To get started, let's hear the clean sound I'm using. It's a pair of the Band Commander amp models set up for stereo operation. I've got the 4x12 Rumble EV12 ribbon setting on here, again set up in stereo, and a little bit of room reverb. We're going to hear the Stereo Mind Guy. These settings I did my best to match to a vintage Electro Harmonics Deluxe Memory Man. The Memory Man is renowned not only for its really gorgeous crusty echoes, but for its modulation as well. So these settings were matched to the vibrato setting on the real pedal. Let's hear it. There's so much character in those repeats, and that modulation is voiced really sweetly. If we take a look at the modulation section, I've actually used the A-stable wave type in here. The rate is at 4 Hertz, depth at 30%. I've used a 90-degree phase offset on here so that in stereo you can hear it sound super wide on there. An absolute classic. Next, I think when most people think of Electro Harmonics, they probably think of the classic Big Muff fuzz. So let's just hear some tones out of the Pi Fuzz on here. You can play around with the settings for the sustain and the tone depending on your guitar and the type of amp model you're running it into. I like this for a big, thick lead sound. Little bit of the Stereo Mind Guy mixed in here, and again, the same clean amps. Let's have a listen to this one. Crank the tone control and run it into a dirty amp or a pair of dirty amps like I'm doing here, you can get a great Doom style tone. Next up, let's take a look at the Electric Mystery Flanger type. Again, I've been lucky enough to borrow a vintage Electric Mistress Flanger, and one of my favorite settings on here has been matched with this Electric Mystery on here. This is just such a classic modulation effect and a great alternative to a chorus. Carrying on the theme of vintage electro harmonics modulation, another pedal that I've been lucky enough to borrow and spend some time matching with the EHX is a vintage electro harmonics small stone. So this is a phaser. It's basically got one knob and a two-way switch on it. Again, I've just matched this to my favorite settings, but this one's really fun with the rate cranked up as well for like a rotary style sound. One of the more popular modern electro harmonics pedals is the POG, which combines pitch shifting with some synthesizer style effects on there, like a low pass filter, a detuner, and an auto swell. Using the quad chromatic will give us the 4 different voices available on the POG, as well as the detune. We can then combine that with the envelope filter and the auto swell in the volume block for a variety of different tones. But these are kind of my favorite POG settings. They're pretty vanilla for what the POG can do, but they work great. Come back to that one with a bunch more distortion on it and some of the modulation effects. The envelope filter on its own does a great job of mimicking the Electro Harmonics Qtron, itself based on a vintage Mutron style filter. Electro Harmonics also had numerous classic chorus pedals. They're probably best known for their association with Kurt Cobain, so I haven't really gone to mimic a particular type of chorus on here. I've just tried to get that kind of wobbly Nirvana style chorus on here. This kind of thing. Now, of course, if I actually knew how to play those songs, I'm sure it would sound a lot closer on there, but you get the idea. To finish up, scene 8 on here I've just called Mega, and it's combining a bunch of my favorite effects. Electro Harmonics in the modern era have a bunch of their different circuits crammed into various kind of multi-effects out there, from kind kind of subtle combinations to really crazy stuff on there. So I thought this was appropriate to say combine the big muff style fuzz, the 10-band variable Q EQ, kind of like the MXR 10-band EQ, a bit of the electric mystery flanger, a bit of the envelope filter, and I'm using the octave divider just for an octave down on here, a pair of the Brit 800 2203 high models on here. I'm going to play you all out with this because this one is stupid amounts of fun. It's so filthy and disgusting. I'll put a link to this preset in the video description so you can get it for free and play around with it yourself. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and have a great time playing around with this preset. I will see you all on the next one.